welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, boys.
Welcome back!
This is Mia.
This is Mia. You like my pajamas?
They're Stitch pajamas. How's the stitching on them? This has been a very highly requested video on the channel, and that is a question that I get pretty much every day on TikTok, which is, how the hell do you afford these? And that's a very good question. So let's dive into it. This video might get a little long, but I'm gonna tell you guys a story of how I went from broke, living in my cousin's apartment, paying $300 a month in rent, owning 7 of my dream cars, and a $7 million house at 23 years old, which is the one thing I'm very proud of. Try to run through this story as fast as I can, and basically kind of how I make my money I'll get to at the very end. When I was 16, I saw Casey Neistat started doing YouTube, and he was a huge inspiration to me. So I started. So I was a 17-year-old kid, and I was like, if Casey Neistat can do this in New York in an apartment, and he made a full career out of it, I can do it too. And that was where my mindset came from at 17 years old. So I started daily vlogging in 2016, and I did that until 2020. And during that process, I never really found true success. I never made over a couple $1,000s a month at max from this industry. But my first year out here in LA, I've been daily vlogging for a little bit over a year, and I met Jake Paul. I met Jake Paul at a camera shop very randomly, and we just became kind of friends, more like I was reaching out trying to be friends, trying to make something happen, and he was really killing it on YouTube, and I was just really trying to make something happen for myself. So at this point, I was just starting to make a little bit of money off of social media, but during the time that I was living out in LA, the first year and a half I lived out here, I did Postmates, I did DoorDash, I did anything I could to make money on top of trying to daily vlog. So I daily vlogged from high school all the way through me getting into NYU and dropping out, filmed that whole process and was daily vlogging it till I came out here to LA. At Jake, started doing vlogs, they got a little bit of success, I made a little bit of money off of that, and then I invested it into Bitcoin and Tron at the time. This was back in like 2016, 2017, so it was really just the start of Bitcoin, and it grew probably 10, 20 times. It was only like a couple $1,000s at the time. And then I cashed out my 30, 40 grand and kind of just used that to live off of for the next year while I tried to do social media. That's just to sum up of my basic like upbringing. I have a whole crazy life story. Did not come from a place of money, did not come from a good place. Had a very rough childhood. This isn't the time to speak about that. So as time passed, I got very lost. I was still daily vlogging throughout the entire process of helping out with Team 10, getting views, kind of being around clout for the first time. I tried to build something off of that. It didn't really work. And then all of a sudden I saw these TikTokers popping off. I met some of these TikTokers, and I just knew that they had so much potential. So I brought all these TikTokers together, and I was like, let's just make a content house, let's all move in together. And the idea was, let's just all pay rent and be around like-minded creators. And that was it. That was all what it was supposed to be. And then shortly after that, Hype House became a thing, and we launched, and everything went crazy viral and super successful. And that was like 5 years into me trying to make it in social media. Keep in mind, at the time, I put every dollar I had into the down payment on the house. At that point, I was broke. I was literally making $2,000, $3,000 a month off of sound promos here and there and just little things to get money. And I was just kind of scraping by. Even though we had all this like big following, I didn't know what I was doing at all. No one really did. We were all making money here and there, but we didn't really understand how to profit off of this industry. And then as we began to grow, and for everyone wondering, I've gotten a lot of comments about this too, like asking if I signed the influencer, all that. No, there's no contracts here. Everyone is under their own management, their own teams. I don't take a cut of anybody who's here, but the Hype House is my company. And I do commission 10% off of what I bring to the house, but that's still, to my own company, I still only commission 10%. So that's nowhere near where most of my money comes from. A lot of you guys are kind of wondering like, how the hell do you make that much money? And sometimes I ask myself the same question. Well, basically, as social media began to grow for me, I quickly realized that there was a lot of money to be made in the industry, and brand deals can be really big if you know what you're doing and if you're marketing to the right niche. I have made some bad decisions along the way with getting money, and this happens very common when you come from nothing and you make a lot of money. It's very common that a lot of NFL players, NBA players, just a lot of sports players in general, a lot of rappers, a lot of artists, they make a lot of money, they make $1 million check, and they spend it all because they've never had it and they don't really understand how the real world works. So I made those same mistakes. I literally made $17,000 off of a brand deal, and this was in 2019 or beginning of 2020, so 2 years ago. And I really wanted a chain my whole life. I always wanted a tennis chain. I thought they were so sick, and so I bought this, and it was $17,000. Not my brightest move for a chain. And then I made another $10,000, and I bought a cat, a Savannah cat. I've made some bad decisions, guys, trust me. I always wanted cool cars. I always wanted to make money and be able to drive around something sick. I always wanted to work on my own car. I had a Mazda 3 that I kind of did work on. I wrapped, made like a little custom grill for it, tuned it. It was just, you know, it wasn't the coolest car in the world, but it was what I had, and I made it work. And I had that car for a very long time until I got the Tesla Model 3. Same thing happened. I made 30 grand or 40 grand just through brand deals, sound promos, anything I was doing through TikTok. At that time, most of my money was coming through TikTok. And I put it down on a car, and I bought a Tesla. And I was super proud of myself, and I bought the Model 3, and then I traded it in for the GT3 RS, and the rest is history on how I got the cars. I just kept buying. But more into how I made the money to afford those cars. Back in 2020, I was making probably $50,000 a month off of TikTok, just through like any brand promotions, any brand deals I had, just anything through TikTok. I was pulling in around $50,000 a month. And that's when I started YouTube. And YouTube was a whole nother world of, I just loved making content. I had no idea that it was gonna blow up. My YouTube videos started to kind of go viral, and I started to make another $50,000, $100,000 a month on there. And that was just insane. So then I got some other contracts in, started doing some more work, and there's a point in 2021 where I have all these expenses that add up a lot, but gross last year I was doing $200,000 to $300,000 a month at one point, and I was kind of fell into the trap of I'm gonna buy a car every month. Which was not the brightest thing in the world, but you know, like I said, I made the money and I decided to spend it on what I want, and that's how all those cars are paid off. Everyone told me, dude, put 100 grand down, finance the rest, take the 200 grand, invest it in something, and I just don't like that. I know that it sounds dumb, and there's a very big chance that I regret that later down the road or in my future. At the end of the day, I bought the cars, I paid them off in cash because I just hate having debt. I've kind of lived this lifestyle of just like, I'm gonna give it all or nothing and all or nothing and all or nothing, because it's kind of helped me stay motivated. I didn't do the whole, I'm not gonna sit here and preach to you guys like a lot of these rich gurus online say, and like save your pennies and scraps, and is that Starbucks really worth it today? It's like, I had Starbucks all the time when I was working, barely cleaning up $2,000 to $3,000 a month, barely living with ends meet, living on my cousin's couch for $300 a month. There was times where I still went and got that coffee. I didn't not eat for a week so that I could invest that $20 I saved, and then eventually when I'm 50 have that money. Like, yes, that works for some people, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and pretend that that's where I made all this money from. No, I risked everything. I was given a choice at 17. I was at NYU and I was already there. I moved everything I had to New York, or move to LA and gamble it on myself, or get an engineering degree and owe $250,000 in debt to NYU and hopefully be able to pay it off and get a great job in the engineering field. And I risked it all and gambled it to try to become somebody in LA, and it worked. And it took me 4 years to make it. Then I started to get the rewards and do the things that I really wanted to do. And now I have some pretty cool cars, and I have a really cool house, and I'm with a lot of really cool people. But yeah, that's kind of how I made my money, because a lot of the people in the Hype Cars comments are like, how do you have these cars if you're not pulling in these crazy views on Hype Cars? I haven't made a single dollar from Hype Cars yet. Hopefully, I hope to scale it one day and have a big channel down the road, and I love cars and I love filming the process of me getting them, and I love doing these types of videos with you guys. But no, I make no money off of Hype Cars. It's just kind of like a passion project that I want to do. All of my income comes from my own social media pages, so I either do brand deals on TikTok, or I'll do brand deals on YouTube or AdSense and all these type of things. But I can't remember the last time I haven't made 6 figures in a month. So that's kind of like a lower end for me, which is insane to think of, because 3 years ago I was literally making $2,000 a month doing Postmates. So life can change like that, but believe in yourself. That's the whole point of this video. That's kind of how I've gotten here today, and I'm very proud. And if you guys ever want any other videos like this, or if you guys want to hear any other stories, go ahead and comment down below. But I'm excited to keep growing this channel. If you have any Hype Cars specific videos that you guys really want to see, I'd love to hear from you guys. But yeah, I'm definitely being smarter. As you guys notice, I haven't bought a car in a little while. I'm trying to be smart and just keep investing and then work on myself. I invest in crypto. I invested a lot in Tesla. I have a lot in the stock market. I just like to put my money away from me so that I don't buy cars. That's kind of my story of how I went from sleeping on my cousin's couch for $300 a month, which I lived at for 3 years before I started Hype House, and it led to where I am today. I'm beyond grateful, and I love you all, and thanks for watching today's video.